Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Lazy Gourmet. Today I'm going to make something that is absolutely amazing, Comfort Food 101, and one of my personal favorites. It's a Greek dish, typically known as Pastitsio. Still got that luscious, delicious tomato sauce, the noodles, and that oh so decadent béchamel sauce. I'm going to show you how easy it is to make and very simple. I've got a pot of boiling water on for my noodles. That's how fast this dish is. It's actually, by the time the noodles boil, which is about maybe 10 to 12 minutes because it's Greek food, so the pasta is typically overdone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add some salt to my water and give it a nice brininess. And then from there, I'm just going to add some penne. I'm going to show you a little trick now on how to measure out penne or any kind of pasta for a dish you're making, depending on the size of the dish. No matter what the container you're using, simply fill it to about a little under halfway. And as you can see, this is approximately half of the baking dish. There's no particular way of chopping these onions up. You can do either slices, which is fine. So once these are chopped up, a few globes of our extra virgin olive oil. I'm using 2 onions in this case because these are on the smaller side, but if you've got one, I guess regular or large onion, that will work as well. And just chop up that onion like that. A little salt. A little fresh cracked black pepper. Next thing is a little garlic. I love using garlic. You can use maybe 1 or 2 cloves, or in my case I prefer a little heavier on the garlic, so I'm going to use about 3 or 4. Totally up to you. And all you do is, a quick and easy way to peel this is just smash them with your palm, and the skins just come right off. And it's an amazing, just a real quick way. A lot of people prefer to use it with the skins on. That's totally fine. Whatever will work for you. So now just throw our garlic in the garlic crusher. There's one. Alrighty. This is smelling really, really amazing now. At this point, our onions are well on their way to being sauteed. The garlic doesn't need nearly as much time. Next, half a teaspoon of cinnamon. That's all it takes. It's not a lot, but that intensity of flavor, boom, awesome. And for this recipe here, I'm just using a 28-ounce can of just not crushed, but diced up tomatoes. We'll go in there just like that. And what we're going to do is use about half a can or so, maybe about half a can of the water, and give that a stir. The sauce now is officially ready. It's got all the ingredients in that we need for this, and that's all. We're just going to let this go now for about 5 to 10 minutes, just so everything kind of gets incorporated. I'm going to give my pasta a real quick stir here as well. The next step to this recipe, and this is where the other twist, next to this being like a meatless or vegetarian dish, is I'm incorporating a little veg into the pasta. And the veg I'm using today is actually spinach. So into the pasta water, I'm going to add a couple of heaping handfuls of the spinach. And you're going to see that it looks like it's a lot, but it really isn't. Turn this off. Put this pasta out there. Just like that. It's nice and strained, ready to go. It's done. Next step, a little bit of olive oil. Take our sauce, just pour it over this. Now, It looks like it's a lot of liquid, but what's going to happen is our tomato sauce, or actually our pasta, is actually done al dente. So it will actually absorb the liquid from this. This is looking really amazing, and it's exactly what I'm looking for. And the colors are absolutely stunning. It's actually very Christmassy, to tell you the truth. You got the greens from the spinach, you got the reds from the chunks of the tomatoes. Very nice. And there's enough liquid that once this bakes, the pasta will actually finish cooking as well. This is right off the plane. And get my box grater happening here. Open this up. I like to basically keep it fresh using a little aluminum foil and the saran wrap. And from here, just take it and just start going, moving it along just like that. This is like amazing. Now you see why this is one of my favorite dishes, even though it's vegetarian. That's fine. And we'll just kind of keep going just like that. So I'm going to stir this again. Just leave that there. Give this another quick stir so it incorporates the mezithra in. Once I'm done stirring this, I'll be back and I will show you a very quick and easy way to make awesome bechamel using milk, butter, and a little nutmeg and flour. Without any further ado, I'm going to grab my pot. My saucepan actually. I'm going to throw that on. Put that again on a medium-high kind of heat. Get that going. And what we're going to need for this to start off with is a stick of butter. I typically use salted butter. I know. But the point is, I love using salted butter only because salt makes everything better. So throw that in there. Once we get our butter starting to melt there, we're going to add a little pepper to this. Just like that. Little pinch of salt. So there goes our butter, starting to melt nicely now. This part doesn't take that long at all. Basically, as long as it takes for the butter to melt, you can start adding in your flour. So now our bechamel has tightened up. The flour has had a chance to kind of work itself into the butter. Next step is milk. I use typically 2% milk. You can use 1%. I don't recommend skim, just not quite right. It doesn't come out the same way. So for this, typically it's 1.5 liters of 2% milk. And slowly, without me making a mess everywhere, I'm going to start adding this in, slowly tempering it. This process here will take about 15 to 20 minutes, give or take. I don't recommend blasting this or searing this really hot, only because it'll become clumpy and you will get that burnt milk taste, and that's definitely not what you want. All right, so our bechamel is tightening up really nicely. About 20-25 minutes has gone by since we started the bechamel. So as you can see, it's nice and thick and smooth. The last part of this, before we actually add it onto our noodles, is adding a little bit of nutmeg. Oh, and there goes our oven. I've preheated our oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 200 degrees Celsius. This will bake for about 45 minutes, give or take, or until golden brown on top. So depending on your oven, that's what it depends on. Now, for nutmeg, I prefer to use the whole nutmeg itself and grate it fresh. And typically, just real quick, just like that. Half a nutmeg, maybe a little bit less than half a nutmeg. Perfect. Just like that. Move it off to the side and give that a final stir. And oh, this is smelling so fabulous. This is unbelievable. This is really great. I'm gonna take this. It's nice and creamy and smooth. And what we're gonna do is just pour that over this. Oh, come on. Now, this is where you want to be a little careful, only because you have to kind of get it to even out and balance itself. And what I would recommend, and believe me when I tell you this, is throw a pan underneath this while it bakes in the oven, because this thing, it will bubble, and as it bubbles, it will actually go all over the place and make a mess, and that can lead to a whole bunch of ugliness. So take it from me, protect your oven. So now this is all nice and leveled out here. The last thing I do is, again, add a little bit more mizithra onto this pastitsio, just like that, from a height. So now this is ready to go into the oven. It's going to go into a 400-degree oven for about 45 minutes, give or take, but do keep an eye on it because everything here is already cooked. What you want to do is just make sure that the top gets browned and the bechamel kind of tightens up even more. And I'll pop this in the oven and I'll be back in a little bit and I'll show you how it works out. And I'm back. It's been about an hour since our pastitsio has been taken out of the oven. It's all ready to go, ready to be plated up. It's firmed up, and that's exactly what we want. And that is the trick, my friends. If you ever have made a lasagna, a casserole, anything like that, that take it out of the oven and you try cutting it too soon, and all of a sudden you get this kind of goopy, sloppy mess, that's why. The trick to that is very simply let it go, let it sit, leave it alone for 45 minutes to an hour, and I promise you it's gonna look like the pictures you see all over the internet, or about 4 or 5 Greeks. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to carefully just cut it down the middle. Oh, this is somebody hold me good. That's how good, it feels good cutting this thing. That's more like a slab than a piece that I'm cutting. But now, hopefully, it'll come out the way I want it to. All right, here we go. Wow. So there you have it. That's my pastitsio all plated up. Now, if you can see this on the inside, how it's all, you see the pasta and the spinach and the sauce, all that liquid has been absorbed. Our pasta going into this was al dente. It was actually a little bit less than al dente, and it absorbed all the liquid of the sauce and the spinach, and you've got a glorious piece that looks like it should be on a magazine cover, if I do say so myself. So, thrilled about that. This is what it looks like. This actually 2 portions, but it's me. The only thing missing, I think, that would be perfect for this is a little bit of greenery on the plate. I know. What I'm gonna do is very simply take some of this, and I'll show you how easy it is to accompany this. Take this, and just put this right here, just like that. Awesome. And a salad without any dressing is rabbit food. So what I'm going to do next is, oh, got caught there. I'm gonna take a little balsamic and just drizzle that lightly over my lettuce, just like that. And of course, EVOO, extra virgin olive oil. And that, my dear friends, is perfection, ready to go. All right, the moment of truth. You can see all the layers, the pasta, the spinach. Oh my God. This is so delicious. I cannot tell you. This basically is a vegetarian pastitsio that I will make and put up against my biggest carnivore friends, and they will love it. I'm telling you, this is absolutely amazing. So I can't stop eating this. So that's here it is, my friends. That is my vegetarian pastitsio, aka the Greek lasagna, but it is vegetarian pastitsio. Thank you very much for watching this. I really appreciate your time. I hope you like this video. If you do, you know what to do. And please subscribe. I love getting subscribers. Leave any comments, questions you have. I love hearing from you. And until next time, I'm Ken, the Lazy Gourmet. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.